In July, NASA released the first pictures from the James Webb Telescope. Each image peers back in time, showing the birth and death of stars and planets and thousands of galaxies. It's hard to see. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's really hard to see and faint, but for those at home who are seeing it, there's a picture up there that each dot is a galaxy. Each dot, a whole galaxy. Now, the closest visible star to us in the northern hemisphere is roughly 5 light years away. It would take our fastest spacecraft roughly 21,300 Earth years to get there. That's 266 generations of humanity from now. This is a picture of something that we are never, ever, ever going to reach. The scale of the universe is unfathomable, and the length of human history is pretty hard to comprehend, too. How many generations of your own family can you name? 3 generations? 5 generations? I don't want to bum you out, but spoiler alert, we live cosmically insignificant and short lives. The High Holy Days is a time to ask big, bold, and audacious questions. Questions about what we want to be doing. Are we living the life that we want to be living? And if we're blessed to receive another year of life, how will we spend our precious days? In his recent book, 4,000 Weeks, Oliver Burkeman suggests that we should embrace our cosmic insignificance. Because when we do, it helps us to reflect and choose what's truly important. To focus our attention on what we care about most deeply. 4,000 is the number of weeks a 77-year-old person has lived. I have personally lived 2,236 weeks, represented right here. The filled-in dots, the weeks I've lived, the blank dots, hopefully the weeks I have left to go. Fingers crossed, I have about 2,000 weeks left. On the High Holy Days, we have historically recited the prayer Unatana Tokef, Judaism's vivid version of 4,000 weeks. On Rosh HaShanah, it is written, on Yom Kippur, it is sealed, who shall live and who shall die. And this prayer makes us uncomfortable because it makes us hold up a mirror to ourselves, a mirror that makes us face the finite future of our lives. When we perceive our own mortality with honesty, we realize that we don't have time to wait. Need to apologize to your colleague? Do it. Your back is killing you from all the heavy lifting? Take care of yourself. You haven't recently told your spouse or your child that you love them? What are you waiting for? We say so much to do and so little time, but time is funny because the older we get, the faster time goes. Ask a parent of a newborn, and each day feels like a year. But listen to a parent tearing up at their child's wedding, and they don't know where the time went. Roughly 4,000 to 5,000 weeks. That's all we get. And the kids who understand this, the people who understand this, are asking the question, how will we read all the books that we want to read? How, with only 4,000 to 5,000 weeks, are we going to be able to snorkel the great coral reef before it's gone? Or cheer on the Panthers in the Super Bowl if, they ever get there again? How can we do it all when we have to take care of our own parents and volunteer here at Temple or other places? And don't forget the kids' sports leagues and the classes at the LJCC and all of the home repairs and the maintenance. And what about those purchases from Amazon that we need to return? Have we returned them? Didn't Ecclesiastes say there is a time and place for everything under heaven? Somewhere along the way, somebody told us that the problem was us. We could do everything we want to do if we just become much more efficient with our time. And who told us this? Oliver Berkman, the same guy who told us about 4,000 weeks. Years ago, he was a productivity consultant, and he made his living teaching us how to maximize our days so we might achieve greater joy and satisfaction with, whatever time was left over. But Berkman realized during the pandemic what many of us did too, that time management does not necessarily create more space for meaning making. Time management is nearly impossible because every time you send an email, you get 5 more in return. Finish 3 projects quickly and someone's going to notice how fast you are, and they're going to give you 10 more. You've heard it in the time management books that tell us that if I just zero out my inbox, if I just finish my urgent task list, if I segment my day into 15-minute increments, if I just stay up later or get up earlier, then I'll get it done. I own all of those books. But no matter how determined and creative and task-oriented you are, there will always be more to do, and more to do after that. Paradoxically, efficiencies often make more work for us and can strip us of our humanity along the way. The Israeli poet Yehuda Amichai wrote a rebuke to Ecclesiastes, saying a person doesn't have time in their life to have everything. A person doesn't have seasons enough to have a season for every purpose under heaven. Ecclesiastes was wrong about that. Which is why Berkman suggests that the best way to move forward is to choose a few things with which to invest your energy and your time on. Sacrifice and jettison everything else and deal with the inevitable sense of loss that will result. Because making a choice means admitting that we can't juggle everything. The choice is whether we actively decide with our free will to actually put down a ball. And sure, grieve that we can't keep it all in the air at the same time. Because we know too well that if we try to keep juggling all of the balls that we have, we will inevitably drop one. And we're going to drop one with little to no agency about which one we drop or how it gets dropped. And we may feel sad about what we can't do. We may sincerely mourn what we can't accomplish in life. Because like the distant stars, there is just so much that's beyond our reach. We will not find soul satisfaction in overproductivity. We may, however, learn the elusive feeling of soul satisfaction with greater simplicity. In Jewish tradition, there is a legal principle called tadir ushe'eno tadir kodem, where there are two mitzvot before us, one rare and one more regular and commonplace. It's reasonable to ask which mitzvah takes precedence. And there are some who argue that we're supposed to complete the rare mitzvah first. But the rabbis conclude that the trick to life is about bringing our focus to the ordinary. Our ancient wisdom is desperately waving to us as we make choices right now. Will we choose to be with family but keep checking the phone so we don't miss a text? Will we talk about slowing down but feel compelled to say yes to every single invitation? Will we end work at 6 but answer emails until 11, failing to spend time with our spouse and our families? Tadir v'she'eno tadir kodem is a way of thinking about our lives that says choosing to elevate our health and choosing to elevate our families, our well-being, will also help us through the moments when we feel that to be a good parent, we are a bad colleague. And in order to be a good colleague, we're a bad friend. It will be tempting to try to reclaim the time that we lost during COVID. But the truth is, we can't reclaim it because we simply don't have enough time. Ask anyone who has lived through the death of a loved one, and they know all too well that there is never enough time. And what they remembered and cherished most, and I'm telling you this as your rabbi, were the ordinary moments and simple expressions of love and forgiveness. A couple of weeks ago, our community said goodbye to a beloved temple member, Harry Cronson. May his memory be a blessing. Harry was a husband, a father, a grandfather. He was a leader of our Spice group, and he was a Shabbat and adult learning regular. And Harry kept a journal, and I was able to read part of his journal. And in the journal entry for Rosh HaShanah in 1984, he wrote, quote, "For this coming year, I'd like to be more at peace within myself, to come to better terms with my job and its demands, to strive to value people more and to be more caring, to continue feeling blessed and even more, to keep my gratitude at the forefront of my thoughts. How blessed I really am with my life, with Ruth, our two great children, to keep and advance our great relations with the Sabbath group, their tribe, their Havarah, and to reach out more to others." Harry lived with some good old-fashioned Jewish wisdom that each and every day is an opportunity to make lemonade out of our very real limitations. Each and every day we can make choices that elevate our lives, which is why those who spoke at his memorial and those I've been communicating with at his previous congregation remembered Harry for being extraordinary, because he made choices that were deliberate and intentional about the ordinary things in life. His family, his friends, his community. And we too, we can make choices that prioritize the ordinary as truly being extraordinary. We can elevate the daily moments, the joy and messiness of weeknight family dinners, and the catch-up phone calls with a friend, and a walk in the sun to the bus stop or to school, the blessings of our thoughts and prayers as we watch the sunset, Shabbat dinner with our tribe or our family, or volunteering at Freedom School or someplace else. Our schedules are a moral budget of time. Try to manage time and we realize how fast time slips by. Try to save time and we realize how we end up serving time. What really matters is creating intention with the most valuable commodity that we have. If in this next year you find yourself getting pulled back into the chaos with too many secondary or tertiary tier priorities in that primary position, then consider how you will set time aside to focus on yourself and your relationships, whether it's building a Shabbat consciousness or taking care of your health and well-being or focusing on the people that matter most. You may not get everything in your life accomplished, but you will live with greater purpose and meaning. The High Holy Days arrive just in time for us to consider in these next 10 days the finite nature of our lives. And they invite us to get proximate enough with our death in a way that helps us to reframe our cosmic insignificance as motivation to choose a life that is meaningful and fulfilling. We start this Rosh HaShanah. These days of awe are before us. Adonai, help us to consider the weeks that we have left. The heavens are beyond our reach, but we can create a beautiful life right here in this new year. We can choose to live a life we hope to be remembered for, a life well lived. Shana Tova.